Hi Booktube, it's Marianne at the Last Fair Book, and today I have part 2 of my December haul. So, these are the 8 remaining books that I hauled in December. Like I said previously, some of these were gifted, some of these were bought with my own hard earned pennies. So, the first book I have is the one I'm most excited about, and it is Shuggie Bain by Douglas Stewart. I have been wanting to buy this book for ages, and I got a £20 Waterstones voucher from a guy I work with at Christmas. So the first thing I did when I went into Glasgow Christmas shopping was pick this up. And I got another book at the same time, but I'll comment that later. So, Shuggie Bain, it's technically historical fiction because it's set pre-modern day, but I was born in the 80s, so I don't really want to think about it as historical fiction. It's centred around the character of Hugh, i.e. Shuggie, who has an alcoholic mother. He's grown up in the 1980s in Glasgow, which wasn't really a great time for everybody that lived there. He is coming to terms with his own sense of self, his sexuality, things like that, and apparently it's a really emotional read, so I am absolutely delighted to have this in my possession, and it's already on my January TBR and I am so buzzing. So the next book I have is Catch 22, and this is another historical fiction. This is set during World War II. It centres around a group of airmen in Italy who are fulfilling their service and basically follows their daily lives. To be perfectly honest, I don't know if I'm going to enjoy it, but it's on my shelf. It is now in my TBR jar, so we'll just have to wait and see when the time comes. The next book I picked up was Kiss Me First by Lottie McGark. See, because I'm Scottish, I automatically pronounce the CH as so, God, that was cry. So correct me on my pronunciation if you like. It's a thriller slash suspense, and the main character Layla gets basically sucked into this kind of dark web situation where she's involved in this catfishing type scheme where she's adopting somebody else's identity. I have no idea how that is going to play out, but I'm really looking forward to reading it because it sounds like something I can get behind. Although I worry that it might make me fear the internet more than I already do. So we'll see how that goes. The next book I have is again another thriller slash suspense, and that is The Wives by Taryn Fisher. This centres around the character of Thursday, who is married to a man called Seth. Seth has 2 other wives. I believe that she already knows that he's got 2 other wives. I don't know if he marries the 2 wives before Thursday or after Thursday, the person, not the day. But like, she finds out that he's not quite the person that she thought he was and stuff like that. I'm hoping like it ends up that the 3 women come together and have some sort of like revenge plot happening, but because I kind of enjoy that concept. Love it. The next 4 books are all non-fiction. The first of which is The Penguin Lessons by Tom Michelle, and I am super excited about reading this because I absolutely adore penguins. The Penguin Lessons is a true story, and Tom basically discovers a stranded penguin when he's in Argentina, and they form a bond, and basically they end up best buds. And the penguin becomes like the local school mascot, and it's really wholesome. I just have a funny feeling that this book is going to make me cry because it sounds so lovely and wholesome, and penguins obviously. So the next book I have is another one I'm quite excited about, and it's Skye, The Island and Its Legends by Otis Swire, and I love Skye. It is my favourite place in Scotland. We went on a short holiday there and we were crossing the bridge on the way back, and I just didn't want to come home at all. I could have lived there. I could have lived the rest of my days on the island. And Skye, the draw for me is it's beautiful. Anywhere you go is very atmospheric. Like, it's magical. I've read, unfortunately, the Skye has received an unmanageable amount of tourism now, and while tourism is great for a local economy and things like that, when you have masses of people descending upon natural environments and sites, that can kind of backfire with littering, damage, and things like that. And we were there, it was busy. And we went kind of off season. We went in November time, it was freezing. I wanted to go when there was no midges because I wanted to go and swim in the water. And obviously, you don't really want midges biting your arse while you're trying to do a little bit of wild swimming. But to be perfectly honest, it is also insane to even contemplate wild swimming in the temperatures that we were out in. It's a miracle that I didn't come back with hypothermia, because when I got in that water, it must have been, I think it was like 0 degrees outside, so I don't know how cold the water would have been. The weather had been really rainy and it was windy, and we couldn't actually go hill walking because they had warning signs up because of how the weather had been. That gives you an idea of how miserable the weather was and how cold the water was. So midges or no midges, it was physically unpleasant, but I have never felt more at peace than I did when I was there. The place that we stayed at, you would literally walk out and you would get up at 5 in the morning and you would go and stand outside and the sky was pitch black. You could not see a single thing. Nothing was visible. There were no outdoor lights. All you could see was the stars, and it's the most memorable and most mesmerising thing I've ever seen in my life. So Skye, if you ever decide to come and visit Scotland, like, please go visit Skye. Just be kind to Skye while you're there. So back to the book. The book was first published in 1952 and basically takes you on a journey around the island, discussing the island and also the legends, fairy tales and myths and folklore that exists. Skye's a beautiful place, but it also has a rich heritage. There is a lot of folklore around the islands. Once I've read this, I'll grab my other Scottish mythology and legend and folklore type books and do a recommendations video, because it's a fascinating place. It is eerie, it is beautiful, it is haunting. It is truly one of the most beautiful places on this planet. I think it's going to be a great perspective on it because the woman who wrote this lived on the island in the 1940s all the way through to the 1970s, because obviously it didn't have the same modern touch on it as it does now. So it'd be nice to go back and read what it was like then, before everything was so over commercialised and tourism wasn't quite as boisterous as it is now. The next book I have is The Book of Gutsy Women, Favourite Stories of Courage and Resilience by Hilary and Chelsea Clinton. Now there's actually a really cute backstory to how I obtained this book. And I was at work and I was having like the most miserable day ever. My anxiety was really bad and I wasn't worth a button. I was tired, I was sad, I was stressed out. It was just such a bad day. The two guys that I work with in my day job, they are so sweet. One of the guys that I was in with had said, "Oh, I need to run out for a minute. I forgot to pick up a Christmas present. Guinea pigs. I need to pick up a present for somebody's birthday or something like that." And I was like, "All right, okay, I'll see you when you come back." I went to Waterstones on his lunch, and he picked up this book. He had seen someone talking about it on TV, and then saw how miserable I was that day and how sad I was, and how invested I am in reading, and he went and picked this up and says, "I thought you could use this today." And it was honestly the sweetest thing that anybody has ever done. It was lovely. But I actually cried when he brought it back. So the book itself it basically tells the story of women who have changed the world and were bold and brilliant and faced all sorts of trials and tribulations to help make a difference to the world around them. It includes Mary Beard, Malala, Harriet Tubman, amongst others, and I'm really looking forward to reading it. So this was another book I got to check off my wish list, and I really do enjoy women's history, so definite picked a winner. Love it. The last book that I have is Women Don't Know You Pretty by Florence Given. This was gifted to me as a Christmas present by my 18-year-old sister, who is a budding feminist queen, and she had bought this herself and she had read it. She loved it and she bought me a copy. So I really appreciated this because it was really thoughtful, because she didn't just go into a shop and pick up a random book like the Gutsy Woman situation. She had took time to say, this is something that Marianne would really appreciate and would really enjoy. I love that she went out of her way to find something that she knew that I would love, and at the same time share something that she loves. And also, when I unwrapped it, I squeaked, because this is another one that had been sitting on my wish list. And then flicked through the pages, and this was the first page I came to, and I was like, yep, this is definitely the book for me. It basically discusses and explores the progressive elements of feminism, and it has a combination of obviously written parts and graphic elements that have been introduced, so it's not just one plain kind of text-based book. It's really eye-catching, and she absolutely loved it, and told me that I need to read it. I have a soft spot for feminist non-fiction in general and changing the narrative. So this is going on my February TBR, and I am really looking forward to reading it. So that was the last book in the haul. Hope you might have seen something that you're interested in, and I'll catch you guys later. Take care, stay safe, happy reading, and I'll speak to you later.